Conflict. It's just a part of life, isn't it? From tiny spats at home to these huge global disputes. We've all been there. But what if there was a way to look at any conflict, not as a battle you have to win, but more like a puzzle you need to solve? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. You know that feeling, right? When you're in an argument that just goes around and around in circles, you make your point, they make theirs, and an hour later, you're right back where you started, just totally frustrated and feeling completely stuck. It's like hitting a brick wall. But here's the thought. What if the problem isn't the conflict itself? What if the real issue is that we jump into these things without ever really stepping back to understand what's going on, under the surface? Okay, so how do we get that understanding? Well, that is where a process called conflict analysis comes in. Think of it as a way to hit the pause button, get some much-needed perspective, and see the entire picture with fresh eyes. Now, let's be clear. This is not about figuring out how to win an argument. It's way deeper than that. It's about getting crucial insights. It's about understanding the history, figuring out every single person or group who's involved, and, this is the big one, genuinely trying to grasp their perspectives. It's about spotting those hidden currents driving the whole thing. Basically, it's about getting smart before you act. So today, we're going to open up a conflict analysis toolkit. And inside, we've got 3 simple but really powerful tools you can use to make sense of pretty much any disagreement. First up, conflict mapping. This tool is all about answering one really basic but super important question. Who is actually involved here? Conflict mapping is, well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You literally draw a map of the conflict. You plot out everyone involved and, crucially, how they're all connected. Are they allies? Enemies? Is the relationship totally broken? A good map makes all of that stuff clear in a single glance. Okay, let's really dig into this. On the left, you see the basic idea, right? Circles for people, different lines for relationships. Simple enough. But look at the right. That's where the magic is. This shows how that simple idea can be used to map something as incredibly complex as the situation in Afghanistan. It shows this whole web of connections between the government, various forces, aid agencies, all of it. It's a seriously powerful tool. All right, let's move on to our next tool. It's called the onion model, and this one helps us answer the next critical question. Okay, but what do they really want? And the name is just perfect, because that's exactly what you do. You peel back the layers of what someone is saying to get to the core of what's truly driving them. It helps you get past the loud, angry demands to find out what's really going on. So think about that tough, papery outer skin of the onion. Those are the positions. This is what people say they want. It's their public demand, their official stance. The line they draw in the sand. I want a 50% raise, or we demand a public apology. But if you peel that layer back, you get to the interests. This is what people really want. It's the why behind their position. Why do they want that raise? Maybe the interest is about feeling valued for their work, or maybe it's just about financial security. And at the very core of the onion, right at the heart of it, you find the needs. These are the big ones, the fundamental, non-negotiable human requirements we all share. Security, respect, identity, a sense of belonging. These are the things we feel we absolutely must have to be okay. And check this out. This is a perfect example of how it works in the real world. In this conflict in Mexico, the positions, well, they look miles apart. Hopeless, right? But as the onion model peels back those layers for both sides, you start to see their deeper interests and needs. Things like land, economic stability, justice. And suddenly, you can start to see where a solution might actually exist. All right, let's grab our final tool from the kit. This one's called the conflict tree, and it helps us get to the bottom of maybe the biggest question of all. Why is this even happening? This is another fantastic visual tool. It uses the metaphor of a tree to help a group separate the deep, hidden root causes of a conflict from all the visible effects, all while keeping everybody focused on the main problem. So here's how it works. The trunk of the tree, that's the core problem, the main issue everyone can see. The roots, which are hidden underground, are the deep structural causes of that problem. And then you have the branches and leaves. Those are the visible effects, all the symptoms of the conflict that we see and feel every day. And look at this powerful example from Kenya. The trunk, the core problem is land alienation. Okay, but why is it happening? Well, the roots show us the deep causes: corrupt political leaders, unequal law, even colonial boundaries. And what are the effects? The leaves? Things like fear, looting, unfair representation. The tree just brilliantly connects those invisible causes to the very real, very painful symptoms. So there you go. 3 powerful tools to help bring some clarity to all the chaos. Now that we've walked through them, let's put it all together and talk about how you can actually use your new toolkit. So let's recap our toolkit. You've got the map, which helps you see who is involved. You've got the onion to understand what really drives them. And you've got the tree to figure out why the problem exists in the first place. With these 3, you can approach any conflict not as a fight to be won, but as a system you can actually understand. And here's one last absolutely vital piece of advice. This isn't a one-and-done thing. You can't just analyze a conflict once and call it a day. Situations change, people change, so your analysis has to be an ongoing process of learning and adapting too. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you feel that heat rising in a disagreement, whether it's at work, with your family, wherever, are you going to fall back on instinct and just react? Or are you going to hit pause, open up your mental toolkit, and start to analyze? The choice, really, is yours.